वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of revered Gurudev. Dear divine souls, I am very happy to announce the launch of a very special service in the mission of His Holiness 1008 Swami Hariharji Maharaj. The 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita was always considered by Gurudev the heart of the Gita. He repeatedly taught us to learn it, recite it, understand it, and practice it. He himself was a living symbol of human qualities that Lord Krishna emphasized in the chapter. Dr. Umapati Prasad, a veteran devotee of Maharaji for over 50 years, has used his scholarly acumen to deeply understand these teachings and unravel the importance of these through his talks at the Saturday Zoom satsang organized by our devotee Troy of Swami Gita Kiranji, Shri B.L. Joshi ji, and Shri Peter Ganglani ji. The video recordings of these talks by Dr. Prasad are being uploaded on a newly created YouTube channel, Gita Dham Shimrag. I am sure that serious students of Gita will find these well-researched talks to be veritable storehouse of knowledge. Shimrag Swami Hariharji Maharaj Institute of Research on Gita, set up by Gita Dham Trust, is a platform for students and scholars of Gita to put up views, commentaries, and critics that will help to unravel the inexhaustible wealth composite in the teachings of the Lord. I humbly invite all of you to partake in this service from Gita Dham Trust. May the blessings of Revered Gurudev be showered in abundance on all of you. Jai Sri Krishna, Jai Gurudev.
वंशी विभूषितकरान् नवनीर्दाभात् पीताम्बरा दरुणबिम्बफला दरोष्ठात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। ज्ञानशक्ति समारूढः तत्त्वमाला विभूषितः भुक्ति मुक्ति प्रदाता च तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Divine souls, as you all are aware that we are now going into chapter 12 and see what Bhagavan and Arjuna have to talk about to each other. As you can see, this, as you all know very well, that this chapter starts with Arjuna asking a very interesting question. Rather deep, so deep, when Bhagavan starts answering his question. That is verse 2, chapter 12. He does not stop. He carries on to chapter 13 and ends in verse 20 of chapter 14. Continuous 73 slokas, not one or two. This is the longest longest chain of verses which Bhagavan talks in reply to Arjuna's one question. See how deep that question is. Let us dive into the question which Arjuna has put. But before taking the question, one would like to see as to why. What happened to Arjuna? What prompted Arjuna to ask the question that he asked? This is a thing to be probed into, and in literatures you'll find how commentators have probed this question as to the likely thoughts which was going on in the mind of Arjuna, which led him to ask this very important question. Now, you all know that in chapter 11, at the request of Arjuna himself, Lord has shown to him his cosmic form, that Virat Vishwarupa. Evametat tattvam atmanam parameswara drashtumikshami te rupam aishwaram purusottama. drashtumikshami evametat. आपने जो कुछ इतना कहा, इतनी सारी विभूतियों का के बारे में बताया आपने. As you all know, there are 154 vibhutiya which Bhagavan has mentioned in earlier chapters. In chapter 10 itself, there were 87 vibhutiya, the divine manifestations which Lord has presented to Arjuna. Arjuna says, yes, you have told me all those vibhutiyas, all those manifestations, and I understand that. But that doesn't satisfy me. I wish, this is my wish, Bhagavan, you show me not only Rupam, but also Aishwaram. Rupam Aishwaram. Your Aishwarja and your form, I request you to please let me have that darshan. And then Bhagavan gives darshan. Not that alone. He again wants Bhagavan to give his Chaturbhuj Rupa. It is his request. Bhagavan doesn't show his Chaturbhuj Rupa to him straight away. He says, Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrahastam Ikshami Tvam Drastum Tataiva Tenaiva Rupena Chaturbhujena Sahasrabaho Bhava Vishwamurte. I have seen your, and he says he also enjoys and also gets fearful. You all know how Arjuna reacted to seeing that Vishwarupa. Then he requests Bhagavan to let me have darshan of your Chaturbhuj Rup. And Bhagavan, of course, obliges. Sanjay says, Itrujan Vasudeva Tatukta Sokam Rupam Das. So he goes, it gives his Rupa Kiritnam Gadinam Chakrahastam, and then he goes to his normal Rupa. So that is the experience. When Arjuna sees his Virat Rup, then he sees his four-armed Rup, then the normal Rup, it starts to puzzle his mind as to what is real, what is unreal, what I can absorb, what I can assimilate, what is happening. And then, after showing his form, he gives a direction to Arjuna and says, bhaktya tvanyaya sakya ahamevam vidhorjuna gyatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha param tapa. After showing his form, was not that enough? By giving darshan itself was enough for Arjuna to get into him. He says, Bhakta tyan anyaya through anyaya ananya bhakti, that Gurudev was also, and he has been kept on emphasizing ananya bhakti and what is ananya bhakti. We'll come to that later on. But here, Bhagwan is giving this remarkable instruction. Arjuna, through single-minded devotion, through ananya bhakti, what can happen? Three things. One is, I can be seen in this form which we have seen. You tum tatvena. You will be able to know, or anybody who goes through ananya bhakti will be able to know him in essence. Tatvena gyatum, and also enter into, O Arjuna. This is the message Bhagavan has given to Arjuna, that anybody who gets it, who performs this devotion, ananya, single-minded devotion, I will give him his darshan. He will know me in essence and also enter into. Now, this has puzzled Arjuna's mind. He starts to thinking, can one know the Brahma or the Supreme Consciousness through unswerving devotion? This is the question which is puzzling his mind. Can we know him in entity, that Supreme Consciousness, which Shastra says nobody can think of him? Achintyoyam avikarjoyam. So the one which is unthinkable, can that be thought or understood or realized by through ananya bhakti to the form of God? Can somebody having ananya bhakti to the form of God can realize Brahma, Supreme Consciousness? Swami Chinmayananda puts it in his own way. He says, can the ocean be fully realized through the knowledge of the waves, or will the knowledge of the waves obstruct our comprehension of the ocean? You see, we have got the darshan of Bhagavan, you have got the ananya bhakti to him, you know his form and everything in great detail, but then is that enough for you to realize the Brahma or know everything about ocean? Or is it possible that one gets entangled in the framework of the waves and unable to realize the ocean? Now, if we look into the fact that Bhagavan has also told him that he praised throughout Bhagavad Gita, particularly in chapter 7, chapter 8, the importance of Nirgun Nirakara Brahma. And there are so many verses. I have quoted these verses here. Those interested can pick up from here, or when you go through the videos, you can jot it down and then go through the in-depth what Bhagavan has talked about this Nirgun Nirakara Brahma. One of the examples I am just giving you, that is chapter 5, verse 24, where it says, Yonta Sukhontara Ramaha Tathantar Jyotirevaya Sayogi Brahma Nirvanam Brahma Bhuto Digachati. Now, in this verse, nowhere there is a mention of form or figure or Swarupa. What he says, Bhagavan says, that yogi becomes one with Brahma and attains liberation who delights within, who is illumined by the inner light. Now, this is very abstract. When we talk of supreme consciousness, everything is abstract. And to understand that, those yogi and those jnani, they go through the process of sravanam, mananam, and nididhyasanam. This the way to go to reach that supreme light, that supreme jyoti, is path taken is a bit different. It is the path of then sarvanam, mananam, and nididhyasanam. And by following those paths, one gets enlightened and get into Brahma. That's fine. But can one, by concentrating on the form, able to reach that is a question lurking in the mind of Arjuna. Then again, Arjuna hears from him about Sagun Nirakar Brahma. You see, one is Nirgun Nirakar Brahma. There is no attribute, free from complete, devoid of all Prakriti attributes. That is pure consciousness. But then Bhagavan had also talked about those with attribute but no form. Jivatma, that has no form, but it is also Brahma. Mame Vangso Jivuloke. I will come to that. But in this verse which I am quoting here, Bhagavan is talking about his attributes without form. And this is what Arjuna has puts in this verse. Akshara or Vyakta. Akshara means not undestructible, imperishable, or Vyakta unmanifest. The Saguna Nirakara Brahma is also, Bhagavan has given importance to that, and he says, Arjuna, if you can't see me in this form, you see me. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. Prabhas means asusuryayo. Pranava sarva vedesu. Sabda ke paurusanushu. Punyo gandham pratibhyam chap. All goes on and on. So all those are vibhuti or divine manifestation of Lord. He may not be the one in the form, but without his power, all these things cannot manifest. All the powers cannot be radiance in the sun. There cannot be any ether, sound in the ether. So all these properties which these have, all those are belonging to my power itself. So through that you can reach me. Once you know the presence of, example, very common example दिया जाता है. If you have a piece of sugar cube in your hand, now the sugar cube that you have in the hand, you do not see the sweetness. You, by observing that piece of sugar cube, you do not see the sweetness. But without sweetness, there is no sugar. So you keep on breaking that sugar into small part. Everywhere presence of sugar is there. The sugar, the sweetness permeates in the sugar. The sweetness is the essence of that sweetness. So to be able to realize that sweetness, you have to have understanding of some power which provides chili, it provides different attribute there. So it is different. But root is one. The power is one. It is one. Only from that power, everything gets into the different states. Now, having done that, Bhagavan says, Arjuna says that he has talked about Nirgun Nirakar Brahma. He has talked about Saguna Nirakar Brahma. And now he is talking about Sagun Sakar Brahma. So there is in Arjuna's mind, all these are coming. He has been observing about Nirgun Nirakar Brahma. He is talking about Saguna Nirakar Brahma. But now he is talking about Sagun Sakara Brahma. And he says, Naham vedair na tapasa na dane na chejaya shakya evam vidho drashtum drashtavanasi mam yata. Neither by the study of Vedas, by no penance, no charity or sacrifice, can all these activities which are performed and which are prescribed in the Vedas, you will not, even if you know all those, if you perform sacrifice, charity, and penance, yet you will not be able to see me that I have shown you. I have shown you the one which you wanted to see, and you can only happen if you are one is totally devoted unto me. And that is what he prescribes in this last verse of chapter 11, which we have gone through. And he says, Mat karma krina mat parmo madbhakta sangavarjitah nirvairah sarva bhutesu yah sa mameti pandava. He talks over there and he talks of me, me, me. That you perform all actions for me. You accept me as the supreme goal. Be devoted to me. Of course, has to be devoid of attachment and free from malice. Once this happens, then only you can approach me. Now let us see what is the question of Arjuna. That is the background which has led to Arjuna's thought in him that he should ask a question. He is trying to find the answer to the question that has been going on in his mind so long. He says, Evam satata yukta ye bhaktastvam paryupasate ye chapyaksharma vyaktam tesam ke yoga vittamaha. Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna said, thus. Evam, thus. The meaning of thus is here, Arjuna is referring. You see, this is the first word of this 12th chapter, first verse. First word. That means he, not only that he is having in his, he is telling to Bhagavan also that all those things which are mentioned in the last 5-6 verses of 11th chapter, he is referring to those verses. I have mentioned all those. So this word evam, thus, how that he has given those 5-6 last verses of 11th chapter. That way, satata yukta, steadfastly devoted, dedicated. Ye bhakta, all those devotees who are steadily devoted to you, as you have mentioned. Twam paryupasate, worship you. See, the commentators feel that worship you may not be very appropriate. But worship में you आप उनकी चंदन लगा रहे हैं, स्नान करा रहे हैं, वस्त्र दे रहे हैं, maybe that way. But the word meditate fits in better. You not only through meditation you can do everything. Worship also includes in that. So the better word for paryupasate, and paryupasate, there is upasate, upasana. Means near, asana means sit down and then think. So that is the one implied in word paryupasate, that you are devoted, meditating on that form. And ye api and others who meditate on aksharam, that is imperishable, or vyaktam, that is unmanifest. Tesham, out of those two, who yoga vittamaha. This yoga vittamaha, yoga vit, that means he should be the knowledge of yoga. So he who is best experiencer of yoga, or best knowledgeable in yoga, or the other way they talk about, who among them, following which one can reach or get salvation faster. Of those two, following which path a practitioner, a sadhaka, will be able to get evolved faster. That is the comparison between the two Bhagavan is talking about. And that yoga is not practice of any yoga, but all those which leads to spiritual absorption, that he is get completely absorbed in that Brahma. That is the yoga union with Brahma, and not just get connected. Connected is okay. You can get connected, that's fine. But simple connection is one thing, but after getting connected, you are lost. You are merged with Brahma, and that is the real meaning of yoga, as Arjuna is trying to ask Bhagavan to give him the direction, to tell him which among these two groups are so well equipped to be able to reach him, getting totally immersed in him, totally absorbed in him. Let me get that more straight. You see, so what is happening? There is a question of comparison. So the comparison is between two groups. So one group is that Bhagavan Arjuna says, "Evam satata yukta ye bhakta." Those are totally engaged in the bhakti, your bhakti, and meditating on your manifest form. Now, Sakar Brahma, you see, using various terms, one may get confused. One may, to keep track of these things, Adi Shankaracharya mentions one word for each. He says, Sakar Brahma, let the word be Paramatma, form. Bhagavan, you can call it. But key word which Adi Shankaracharya uses is Paramatma for Sakar Brahma, and for Nirakar Brahma, Akshar Brahma. Akshar. These two are two words, makes differentiation between one type of devotee and the other type of devotee. One is the one who is upasana on Paramatma, that is Sakar Brahma, and other is upasana on Akshar Brahma, Nirakar Brahma. So the Sakar Brahma, form, and Nirakar Brahma, without form. So these two are the one. The Nirakar Brahma, of course, has the two qualifications which Arjuna has put, Akshara and Avyaktam. Akshar is non-perishable and Avyaktam is unmanifest. Now again, the question is, who is the best knower of yoga? Who is the best versed in yoga? Who is that will lead to salvation sooner? That is the question Arjuna has. Now, we make it further simpler. To simplify the matter further, we can talk about, when we talk of form, in this no ambiguity at all. When Arjuna talks about who merit one, the group who meditate on manifest or Paramatma, there is no issue. Adi Shankaracharya says that you can have a form of Bhagavan Ram, Krishna, Shiva, Ma Durga, Ma Kali, Adi, any form, if you, whatever Ishta Devata you want to concentrate on, Upasana, aap unki kare. So that is the no absolutely clear, no issue. But issue comes when one start to think how one can meditate on formless. Akshara Brahma, you can also call it Parabrahma. So the Arjuna question again, who will attain salvation sooner? Let us go into the ambiguity. Now, what is the problem? Problem here is that when we talk of Nirgun Nirakar Brahma, without attribute, unmanifest, imperishable, pure consciousness, devoid of any attribute that pertains to Prakriti, aprameyam, achintayam, that those are beyond the realm of the mind, intellect, and sense organs. That entity which is called Parabrahma, that is an entity which is Nirgun Nirakara Brahma, absolute Brahma, that entity is aprameya. Your mind and intellect cannot even think of it. Achintayam, cannot think, cannot have concept. This is beyond the realm of mind and intellect. Swami Chidbhavananda puts this way, that it is the pure consciousness that makes the man feel the object. You cannot feel the object. You cannot use your senses to experience anything in the world without having the power from the pure consciousness. That pure consciousness gives the power, but the pure consciousness is not available for mind to feel. That is gives you power to feel, but your mind cannot feel him. God is wakefulness who throws a light on our mind, but he is not accessible to our mind. So that is a big question mark here as to how one is can one be able to do that. We have in Keno Upanishad beautiful verses. The first verse of the Keno Upanishad, an entire Keno Upanishad discusses on this verse alone. Kene sitam patati presitam mana. Kene prana prathama preta yuktaha. Kene sitam vachamimam vadanti. Chakshu srotram kaudevo yunakti. By whom missioned falls the mind short to the mark. How can the mind reach a flower and appreciate the beauty of the flower and passes on to him to appreciate? Yoked, by whom yoked moves the first life breath. पहला सांस जो हम लेते हैं उसकी उत्पत्ति कहां से होती है? By whom impelled in this world that we speak, when we speak, from where that power comes in? What God set eye and ear to their working? I have mentioned about a film, बूंद बन गई मोती, वो कौन चित्रकार है, वो कौन चित्रकार. ये संसार का जो जो प्रकृति जो है, पहाड़, नदी, झरने, फूल, पत्ते, सब कहाँ से आते हैं? सब उनमें चमत्कार कहाँ से आता है? और ये कौन देता है शक्ति को? And this has been discussed in great detail, and yet nobody has been able to conceive that. Now, when we talk of Parabrahma, is Arjuna thinking about Jivatma? That is witness consciousness. You see, one is Paramatma, supreme consciousness. There is Jivatma, which is in all of us. Every one of us presence in all being. That Jivatma is the witness consciousness from Bhagavan. And that is also imperishable. That is also unmanifest. You don't see Jivatma. You don't see. It is the essence of Paramatma in us. That is the power of Paramatma in us. Mamaivangso jivuloke jivabhuta sanatana. And Bhagavan talked about Char and Akshar. Mo purusho loke Shar Akshara evacha Chara sarvani bhutani Kutasthoksha Aruttate. Is Arjuna talking about this Kutakshara? That is the imperishable one. The soul is imperishable. Is Arjuna talking about this? I think we will discuss this matter again next week. Carry forward. This is an interesting question. Once we go through the question, then the answer will be more easy, more plausible. Thank you very much. Jai Sri Krishna. Jai Gurudev.